What is going on, everybody? How you doing today? My name is Jim Games and I react to videos on the internet, and in today's video I will be reacting to the band Whitechapel for the very first time. Now the song, it's called A Bloodsoaked Symphony. And the reason I'm reacting to this today is because it was recommended to me by my good friend Double T, and this guy recommends some of the most aggressive, gnarly metal I have ever heard in my entire life. So buckle up. I can only imagine we're in for something pretty brutal here today. If you're new around here, please consider liking and subscribing. I do this sort of thing all the time. And what do you say we just get right to it? All right, let's switch screens and let's get right on into it. Yeah, so the information I have about this so far is, and this is just coming from my buddy Double T, is he says this song might be about loss. I believe the lead singer's parents had passed. I'm not sure if this is a recent thing or something happened in the past, but he seems to be going through some sort of issues with it, and this song might be about that. But the way it sounds like it was explained to me, this could just be complete speculation. We're not 100% sure of that. But Whitechapel is a band that I've heard of before. Maybe it's been passed around my channel. It may have been recommended to me from a few of you guys. But it's not something I don't think I've ever sought out or sat down to do a reaction to, except for today. So we're going to get to that right now. All right, what do you say? Get the mood for a Bloodsoaked Symphony. Here we go. Starting off a little slower. Yeah, so far the lead up on this is kind of leading me to believe that this might actually be about the death of his parents. The pictures are kind of panning off to there, which was an older woman and an older gentleman, which looks to be about the right age to possibly be the guy digging this hole in the grave's parents. Again, this is all speculation. I could be completely wrong, but the theory lines up so far. Kind of a slow build, kind of a slow start. I like the bass, how it kind of creeps in. It's just giving us this kind of like eerie, pensive type feeling. And right about now, we're getting to that kind of crunch moment. And I can only imagine where it's going to go from here. Let's go. Oh shit, is that the casket? Buckle up.
My conscience froze when I felt the cold embrace of the hand that grasped in me. I set my soul ablaze. I crawled through the nether and left the suicide letter next to my own severed head. I think I should be dead, but that's the beauty of selling yourself to sin. But again, we are made, living with our sin, wishing to live within our origin again.
This is actually strangely poetic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys can understand the lyrics, but I got them kind of here on screen. I know it's probably too small for you to really read them, or maybe it's not. Maybe you have better eyesight than I do. But I'm kind of going along here with the lyrics, and this is exactly what it seems like. It's, you know, he's saying his pain's not going to end until they come back to him. He's literally, you know, talking about his father's hand wanting to be warm again. I truly believe this is probably a song about this guy's parents passing, and he's suffering in some way. You know, you can't help but feel for a guy like this who's lost his parents and he feels alone. And there's something strangely poetic about these lyrics so far too. You know, a lot of times I'll listen to this kind of music and this kind of groove, and while it's fascinating and while it's interesting to a degree, and it fascinates me to a degree, unless there's some kind of real substance behind it or something cool or creative going on, it kind of slips it kind of slips by me, and I just don't really give it too much of a second thought. And I'm really glad that I have the lyrics right here, because honestly, as brutal as these riffs are, as kind of groovy as this is, what's really kind of hitting me, believe it or not, is the lyrics of this. And I'm ashamed to say it, but like I'm surprised as to how poetic this actually is. As dark as it is, it does seem like it's coming from a real place. It does seem like I don't know. It's putting me in the vibe of possibly the realm of what this guy's feeling. I mean, I can't imagine losing both my parents and what that would be like, and how alone you'd possibly feel. And you can kind of see it. Or more importantly, I can read it here, the lyrics. But as far as the music goes, it's groovy, it's crunchy, and it's kind of slower moving. The riffs are kind of very chuggy. I feel like the riffs kind of start and there's a melody brewing, but it never quite gets to it. It just kind of goes and it's about to start, and then it just kind of just loops back around. And maybe that's the style, and I guess it kind of is. But I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm going with that. Maybe the music is going to go somewhere else from here on out. But let's continue. I mean, it's got a punch for sure.
I can feel the devil's presence. He never let this out. Now I can live my dark fantasy. Drunk straight to me. Drain every last drop from his arteries. I start through a force of blood wasting.
Hell is happening now. This is kind of gory. What the hell is going on? Okay. I'm probably going to get so much shit from fans in the chat for this, but what the hell is going on? I stand by my original opinions here. You can't help but feel for a guy that's actually going through this, and if he did lose his parents, I truly do feel for him. But this song has taken a dramatic shift here. It appears this man has now joined a cult, and he's trying to resurrect his parents through some sort of bloodlust. Maybe not bloodlust, but it seems like he's trying to resurrect them, and it's going to be his gift. That's just what it's saying here in the lyrics and the imagery that's going along that. He's drinking blood out of a skull, and it seems like he's obviously this isn't Satan worship. I don't believe that's what that is. From what I understand, Satanism is actually a fairly beautiful religion, but this seems like he's like legit, like he's turning to the power of witchcraft or something like that, and he's really trying to like read these ancient texts. He's going through his old books and he's trying to resurrect them. It's taken quite the shift. And I don't want to laugh at this, because I don't think that's truly fair to do. I mean, everybody deals and copes with their issues any way they have to, and this is obviously this guy's outlet. And maybe this is just kind of like dealing with the real life issues and then adding to a fantasy of a story of being able to do this, and living vicariously through this story that he imagined in his head. I don't truly believe this guy believes that he can resurrect his parents. It's just kind of it's an interesting take on it. But I guess again that swings things back around in a direction that this is actually weirdly artistically poetic. Let's go back in a very morbid way. I gotta stress that. Let's take this back a couple seconds, because it appears we're about to get into some sort of breakdown. Something's coming here. Oh, it's so chuggy. Really enjoying the cymbal work here. I think because it's been such a slow build and it's been such a slow chug, by the time this melody comes back around at this point, you're almost kind of craving it. You know, you're almost kind of missing it. And not that you're expecting it, but you're happy when it's here. And things are sped up a little bit here as well. I mean, you can obviously definitely hear it in the double bass, and then in a lot of the ride work. There's some fantastic cymbal work going on here with the drums. But when this came back around to this, I was like, the first thought I had is, I should be kind of disappointed that I'm hearing this kind of thing again, because it seems more kind of blast beaty and it seems kind of like lazy writing to me. However, the structure of this song, the way that it's been building, and how I'm kind of wrapped up in the story, by the time it swings back around, it's bringing in this morbid familiarity to me. Oh, sorry, I can't talk. I'm very tired. Morbid familiar. I'm not even going to try and do it again. And I don't know. It's almost kind of refreshing to have it here again, as dark and as pulsing as it is. I'm gonna take this one back here a little bit, just because I really want to pay attention to these drums here. I mean, I obviously I'm very familiar with how the double bass works and how fast people can use double bass and play it. It's a skill I wish I had. And but what's really intriguing me here is just the cymbal work. Honestly, maybe I'm just fascinated with drums today. This story is definitely taking a very, very interesting turn. I'm going to go back a couple more seconds here. I want to keep the flow of this jam going. Like, it's just an onslaught. Wow. Okay, there's more. Yeah, it's essentially a horror movie music video is what this is. Yeah, this is Dark Man, and now he's at some sort of like random altar here. Yeah, okay. It took a dramatic twist from where I thought this was going to start as to where it went, at least from a storytelling perspective. It's kind of shocking. It's kind of shocking, and I can see. Well, first off, let me say this: this song is going to be absolutely brutal live. I can just imagine what it's going to look like. Let me just, you know what? I'm just going to put this back, and we'll just get a little visual here. I can just imagine what the pits are going to look like, what the whole scenario is going to be. I mean, this is going to be a dangerous song live. Now that we get that out of the way, and I'll touch more on the music maybe a little bit later, I'm really fascinated by this story, maybe because it's also coming from what seems to be a real world perspective. And from my first listen on this and trying to kind of dissect the lyrics and figure out what this whole thing is about, yeah, I do believe this song might be about the fact that he feels kind of left alone. And he feels like the people that raised him and crafted him, in his words, are not there anymore. And that feeling of just aloneness, it's going to weigh on you. It's definitely going to weigh on you. There's something completely unconditional about, a parent's love for a child. And once that's gone and that's just kind of erased from your life and you remember what it was, and now that it's just not ever there again, it's got to weigh on your soul. It's got to take you to some very dark places. And he did. He even mentioned suicide. He mentioned showing up to his own suicide with his own severed head. I didn't quite get that line, but it was incredibly morbid. As this song first started, I was kind of almost like, okay, here we go. This is just going to be complete blast beats, right after the whole, slow intro. I thought this was going to be just like kind of a nonstop, show off of just blast beats and, chugs and whatnot. And it's not what we got here. We got kind of more of a slow-moving, groove-based song that had some powerful hooks and caught me really off guard by how interested in the melody I was as this song progressed. So there's actually a lot of really cool things happening musically here that might sound simple, but it's actually done structurally in a smart way, because it does. It keeps the listener engaged, and it keeps you kind of on the edge of your seat and anticipating it. Now, that on top of what we were already talking about here with these lyrics, And like I said, I mean, maybe this is just his way of kind of dealing with that. This is his, outlet of how to deal with the passing of his parents. And I once we get to the middle of the song and things took kind of like a turn towards the occult, I'm like, okay, what's going on now? Is this just some sort of morbid curiosity? What is this? And at first, I almost kind of wanted to like judge. I'm like, this is so cheesy. You're gonna drink blood from a skull and do whatever. But then I thought to myself, like, no, man. That's kind of what art is. And might be how this guy kind of deals with these emotions that he's had from, losing that sort of support system in his life. And who knows where that takes you. And I think kind of, fantasizing about being able to do something like that, being able to bring this unconditional love back into your life and make things kind of as they once were, no matter the way you do it, I feel like that's got to be an incredible, valuable fantasy and possibly something that he's really thought about. I mean, obviously, we don't have the ability to bring the dead back to life, but what if we did? I mean, of course, you'd want to do that, and I think that's what he's thinking here. I mean, look at right over here on his left and his right. It looks like he's on this altar and just bringing his parents back, and they're all zombified and. But I mean, it doesn't look like it's a scary thing. Like even like this, like emotion right over here, it's actually pretty touching acting as well. I see a lot of the blood and the gore, and I'm not a big fan of horror. I just don't have the stomach for it. But I feel like this guy's like actually a half decent actor. Like just like expressions on his face. Like it seems like it's not like, oh, brutal. I'm the biggest, the best, the toughest. You won't meet me in the pit. It doesn't seem to have that kind of attitude. There seems to be some real vulnerability here and some real honesty, which is something I don't see very often in metal music, especially that's this brutal. So that's what's interesting to me. That's my first take on Whitechapel's Bloodsoaked Symphony. If you enjoyed your time with me today, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you out in the next video. Bye, everybody.